Beloved child, listen carefully before you hurry to search for another explanation. Your next step is being arranged in the hidden place where your eyes cannot yet see. I, Michael, do not come to make you afraid, but to place before you a reminder full of love and solemnity. In this season, what can pull you away from that preparation is not the one who opposes you, not the closed door, and not the delay outside, but the words you speak while your heart is still wavering. There are plans of God that are woven in silence, joined piece by piece across many years, and brought near to you through paths you never knew. And when you are very close to the appointed place, silence is no longer a small choice. It becomes the protective garment for what is being formed. I have seen the times you opened your heart too soon to someone who did not have enough depth to cherish what you were carrying. I have seen you speak about your dream, your pain, your calling, and the sign you received, only to walk away afterward feeling heavier, more confused, and weaker, not because what is within you is wrong, but because you placed a jewel still being refined into the hands of people who only knew how to look at it as an ordinary stone. A conversation that seemed harmless, a message sent when you needed comfort, a meeting with someone who had not been given the capacity to understand your journey, can sometimes cause you to doubt what God has patiently built within you over a long time. Therefore, today's reminder is not punishment, it is protection. Beloved child, God is not angry with you because you once spoke too much. He knows you only wanted to be understood, wanted someone to confirm that you were not imagining things, not walking the wrong way, not alone. But there are seasons when human confirmation becomes noise that covers the guidance from heaven. There are things that lose their first purity the more they are explained. There are doors that become covered by doubt, hurried advice, narrow glances, and fears that do not belong to you when you tell too many people about them. So, I am standing like a guardian before the gate of your lips, not to lock your voice forever, but to help you know when to hold back what is sacred until the right time. Understand this with peace. You are closer than you think. The pieces that seemed scattered are being placed into position. The delays that once grieved, you are becoming part of the preparation. The people who once left, the words that once wounded you, the doors that once closed, none of it has moved beyond the hand of God. But on this final stretch, you must learn not to pull everyone into the hidden room where He is working. Not everyone is allowed to hear the music before it is complete. Not everyone is allowed to see the blueprint before the house is built. And not every emotion within you needs to be turned into words immediately. So breathe more slowly and let stillness become your shelter. Do not send a message only to find temporary relief. Do not speak it out merely because you fear that if you remain silent, you will be forgotten. Do not open a conversation that you already know will disturb the peace within you afterward. God is very near to what He has promised, and His firmness right now is love, protecting your harvest. Let me comfort you in this steadiness. What is meant for you does not need to be announced early in order to become real. It only needs to be guarded in silence until God Himself opens the door and causes you to step into what no one can break anymore. Your next step is sacred, and it cannot be born in the noise of haste. Beloved child, I want you to understand that there are doors that do not open through excessive striving, nor do they open because you run around seeking one more confirmation from others. There are doors that open only when you become quiet enough to recognize that the hand of God has already been there. What is being awakened within you is not the part that must always analyze, always defend, always search for evidence in order to feel safe. It is the clearer, softer part, the part that once knew how to trust without holding every answer, the part that once looked at the world with simple eyes before wounds taught you to doubt every good thing. I know that part of you has been covered by many weary seasons. When you were misunderstood too many times, you began needing explanations for everything. When you were left in the silence of others, you began to fear silence as though it were an empty room. When you once had to protect yourself with words, you thought that if you did not speak immediately, you would be lost. But tonight, I am gently calling you back to a purer trust. Not a naive trust that is easily wounded, but a mature peace that knows God does not need noise in order to act. Nor does he need you to force everything to happen before its appointed time. So sit down within your own heart. My child, stop chasing outer signs just to soothe the anxiety inside. Do not force others to say what the process itself is slowly revealing. There are answers that, if they come too early, will only feed your fear. But when they come at the right time, they will carry a clarity that needs no argument. God's natural unfolding is not delayed. It is simply not controlled by your impatience. And when you accept that you do not need to force it, you will realize that waiting is not emptiness, but the place where he is rearranging your steps, your breathing, and the peace within you. Hold on to that sacred silence like a lamp shielded from strong wind. Do not use words to break open what God is keeping warm. Do not open the door simply because anxiety is knocking loudly outside. When it is time for you to speak, he will place clarity within you, not through pressure, but through a gentle certainty so strong that you will not need to struggle to recognize it. And when that voice comes from him, you will not have to speak in order to complete the next step. Your obedience in silence has already completed many things. You only need to remain still within that guidance. Because what is sacred does not need you to push it forward. It only needs you not to make noise while it is being born. Imagine yourself standing before the bedroom door at the crossing point between deep night and the dawn not yet arrived. When the whole house is wrapped in stillness and you are forced to face what is within you, the thing you often avoid during the day. One hand is near the light switch, but the light in the room has not yet been turned on. The other hand holds your phone, where the small screen casts a thin glow across your face. In the unfinished message box, the first lines seem to breathe with your heartbeat. You want to tell someone that something is moving, that what you have been waiting for seems very near, that tonight you feel a signal you can hardly name, even for yourself. I see that moment, child, when the joy is still very young, very bright, very fragile, and you only want to hand it to someone familiar so you can hear a gentle word of confirmation. But beloved child, not everything that has just been lit within you needs to be brought outside immediately. There are joys like a small flame inside a clear vessel. It is real. It is warm. It has light. But it still needs to be protected from winds that come too soon. You are not wrong for wanting to share. Your heart is not wrong for longing to have someone rejoice with you. After many days of waiting, after many times wondering whether that thing would ever take form, the feeling of seeing the first sign can make you want to run and tell it immediately. I understand that. I do not come to put out your joy. I come to teach you how to keep it long enough for it to become steadier. Because in some seasons, secrecy is not isolation, it is protection. When you speak too soon about what is being formed, not everyone will touch it with purity. Some will doubt. Some will ask too many questions. Some will unintentionally plant a seed of worry in you with just one unsupportive sentence. And then what should have been nurtured in peace is pulled into the noise, forced to prove itself, explain itself, and stand firm before eyes that were never invited in. Do you see? Sometimes the wind does not come from malice, it comes from curiosity, from the fears of others, from comments that seem small but are enough to shake the flame you have just received. So when your finger hovers over the send button, do not be quick to call that hesitation, uncertainty. Perhaps it is guidance gently placing a hand upon you. Perhaps heaven is whispering that this should be kept a little longer, that it should be allowed to grow in stillness before it steps out before the voices of the world. Sacred joy does not need to be announced immediately in order to become real. What is drawing near to you does not disappear simply because you have not told anyone. And a blessing does not need the first applause of human beings in order to be confirmed as a blessing. I want you to learn a softer wisdom, to share at the right time, with the right person, in the right measure, and from a place of peace. Tonight, if that thing is still new, still warm, still being shaped in the hidden place, put the phone down for a while. Let the quiet room become a gentle covering around you. Let that joy remain with you and with the one who gave it to you first. When the time comes, you will not need to hurry in search of validation. What has been guarded properly will carry its own clear light. For now, cover the vessel with trust, not to hide the light forever, but to let the flame become strong enough before it meets the wind. The fact that you almost sent that message tonight does not prove that you are weak, unwise, or lacking faith. It only shows that an old pattern is trying to find its way back to life within you. Beloved child, I want you to hear this with gentleness, not with shame. There were years when you learned that if you wanted to be kept, you had to explain. If you wanted to be loved, you had to answer quickly. If you wanted to be seen, you had to repair every distance by yourself. When someone was silent, you once thought you were being abandoned. When a voice changed, you once believed you had done something wrong. When a message did not arrive, something inside you grew restless, as though your peace were lying in another person's hands. But child, that is not your true self in this present moment. It is the echo of old seasons, where you were not yet strong enough to realize that you have the right to rest, to slow down, and to not react immediately when your heart is touched. I have seen you carry that pattern through many long nights. I saw the times you picked up your phone and then put it down. The times you wrote an entire long message only to delete it. The times you tried to appear calm while inside you a wave was crashing against the shore. I do not blame you for almost sending that message. I do not call it failure. I call it a sign brought into the light, so it can no longer control you in secret. For there are chains that make no sound. They only cause you to believe that you must please, must explain, must hold on, must repair the emotions of others in order to be safe. And tonight, when you almost repeated the old way, grace touched you before your finger pressed send. That was not heaven delaying, that was gentle intervention. So I want you to name this clearly. This is the pattern of haste born from the fear of loss. It did not begin tonight. It was woven into you long ago. Through the times when you had to guess other people's feelings. Through the times when you had to become easy to be around in order to avoid being left. Through the times when you believed silence meant danger. But you are no longer the old child who must chase after every sign to find reassurance. You are being lifted out of reactive living and into guided living. I do not only want you to stop sending one message. I want you to be free from the need to immediately prove your worth. Tonight, you do not need to chase a closing door. Do not need to ask for an explanation from a place that only exhausts you. And do not need to reopen a dialogue that peace has told you many times to release. Breathe slowly. My child, put the phone down as though you are setting a burden out of your hands. What needs to be broken will not be broken by tension, but by awareness, by gentle obedience, by the moment you choose not to serve fear one more time. I am near you in this very moment, not to make you ashamed of what you almost did, but to help you understand that healing has begun right at the place where you were once most likely to fall. And when you do not send that message, you are not merely holding back a message, you are holding on to the peace, dignity, and sacred freedom that the Most High is restoring within you. If a dream, a persistent thought, or an impression that refuses to leave has appeared within you, connecting the provision that is coming with a specific calling in your life, then listen carefully, because that is not a passing emotion. I want you to understand that some signals do not come with a loud sound, but like a small flame quietly burning in the deepest hidden place within you. Perhaps you have often wondered why you keep thinking about a financial door, an opportunity for expansion, an unexpected support, while at the same time your heart is not drawn toward mere enjoyment. What you feel is not only a desire to have the burden lightened, nor merely the wish for a more comfortable life. A sacred connection is being engraved into your awareness. What is coming is not only for you to keep, but for you to use for something greater than yourself. Beloved child, I do not deny that you are tired. I know there are days when you only want enough to breathe, enough to stand, enough to stop worrying about the basic things. But when heaven places within you an impression of provision tied to mission, that carries a different weight. Abundance, then, is no longer a soft chair where you fall asleep. It is wings to carry you farther. It is not a crown for you to exalt yourself, but a tool placed in your hands so you can build, support, heal, open a way, and complete the part entrusted to you before you fully understood yourself. So do not take lightly the images that keep repeating in your mind. A place that needs to be built, a family that needs to be protected, a community that needs to be strengthened, a work that needs to be born, someone who needs your help at the right time. Perhaps you do not have enough resources today, but the calling has come first to prepare you for tomorrow's responsibility. True provision never comes only to fill the hand, it comes to strengthen the steps. It does not only answer the question, "What will you have?" It also asks, "What will you do with what is entrusted?" When you clearly sense that finances, opportunities, support, and open doors are pointing toward a specific mission, that is a sign that you are not only being blessed, but also being sent with a purpose. Keep your heart in humility, because great provision requires a heart kept clean in intention. Do not rush to tell everyone about what is still being arranged. And do not let excitement cause wisdom to fall from your hands. Let me teach you how to prepare quietly, refine your motives, clarify the plan, train your discipline, learn stewardship, and distinguish between true need and disguised display. What is coming is not meant for you to prove your worth to anyone, but for you to step into the portion you have been chosen to carry with a bright heart, clean hands, and a steady mind. And remember this, when heaven opens a channel for what has been destined, that flow will not look like ordinary luck. It will carry direction. It will draw you toward a clear responsibility. It will make you feel expanded, but also reminded that you must mature. If the provision coming toward you makes you think of building more than boasting, serving more than storing up, completing more than indulging, then you are touching a precious sign. I am beside you in that process, not only to comfort you in lack, but also to guard you as you begin to step into purposeful abundance. Before you move forward, I want you to listen fully to what remains, because the wound being named is only the beginning. While healing requires you to stay long enough for the light to go deep into the place that was once covered. Beloved child, there are things within you that have endured for so long that you thought they were your nature. But they are not. Your constant desire to explain, to share, and to have others see what you are carrying did not begin today. Nor did it come only from a few recent conversations. It is a pattern that has quietly taken root over time, formed from very early moments when you were too small to understand that pain can seek shelter in silence, and that the longing to be heard can become an unspoken plea. So I do not want merely to soothe you with tender words and then let you return to the old loop. I want to lead you through a deeper recognition, where you can see yourself from many layers. You will recognize what your behavior is repeating, what your emotions are searching for, and where your inner life needs to be reordered in peace. When those 3 layers are placed under the light, you will no longer blame yourself as before. You will understand that what once made you react was not always weakness, but often a very young part within you trying to be protected, trying to be heard, trying to be assured that it had not been forgotten. I will bring you back closer to the point where the urge to speak, explain, and prove first became marked within you. Perhaps it was in the years when you were very small, when a word was ignored, an emotion was minimized, or a moment when you needed to be held became a moment when you had to swallow your trembling alone. From there, you learned to believe that if you did not speak enough, explain clearly enough, or keep others close long enough, then what was precious within you would be misunderstood. But I come to tell you that you do not need to continue living like a child who must keep knocking at the door in order to be allowed into peace. Then I will place in your hands a new way of guarding, like the way a holy mother once cherished what had been entrusted to her without exposing it before every eye. Not everything given to you needs to be announced immediately. Not every seed needs to be dug up to prove that it is growing. There are blessings that mature only when kept in a quiet place, and promises that become stronger when you do not hurry to hand them to people who cannot honor them. You will learn to discern which door should be opened, which door should be closed, which door should be opened only partly, and which door must be protected by wise silence. Tonight, you are not only receiving a beautiful idea to think about and then forget, I want you to have a practical path to begin, with clear steps, healthy boundaries, and small yet powerful choices. You will know when to stop before sharing too much, when to ask your heart what it is truly seeking, and when to place what is precious before God instead of placing it into the hands of someone who is not ready. And you will also see that the Father does not ask you to support the heavy thing alone. He has prepared gentle streams of support, reverent pathways, and safe places where what is within you can be cared for without being wounded further. Stay within this guidance, beloved child, because this entire journey is not meant to hold you back through fear, but to lead you out of weariness, restore sacred discretion to you, give you mature peace, and teach you the ability to guard what is precious without begging the world to understand it for you. This is why the old reactions within you no longer rise as they once did, because the hand of the Most High has placed a sacred pause between your pain and the words about to leave you. You can still feel the sharp ache of being misunderstood, still feel your heart tighten when someone says something insensitive, unjust, or cold. I know there are moments when you think you will respond immediately, explain, and defend yourself with words that are quick, sharp, and clear. But then something holds you back. A slower breath, a silence entering in, a very gentle prompting in the hidden place telling you not to rush. Beloved child, that is not your weakness. It is the sign that maturity is being formed within you in a gentler way than you realize. I want you to understand that this pause is mercy guarding the doorway of your words. Before, you may have reacted very quickly because you thought that if you did not speak immediately, the other person would win. The truth would be twisted, and you would be left in misunderstanding. But not every battle needs a loud voice, and not every truth needs to be protected by haste. There are times when your silence is not failure, but evidence that you are no longer being controlled by the old wound. When you know how to stop before answering, heaven is teaching you to distinguish between the voice of fear and clear guidance. Fast does not always mean right. Strength is not always found in volume, and faithfulness does not necessarily mean rushing into every argument to prove your innocence. That is why you see some conversations closing on their own without you needing to force them to continue. The words that once kept you awake now no longer hold you as long as before. The people who once had the power to throw you into cycles of explanation, waiting, and self-questioning no longer hold your emotions with the same old authority. You once longed for clear closure from them. One final conversation, one complete explanation, one moment when every tangled thing would be neatly put in place. But while you were hoping they would open their mouth and give you relief, the Most High was quietly closing the door of attachment within you. He does not let you remain forever in the room of unanswered questions, because there are answers that, if they come from someone who is not pure enough in the way they love you, will only wound you more. So, my child, do not be afraid when you no longer want to react as before. Do not think you are becoming cold simply because you no longer chase after every painful word. That is deliverance happening in quietness. I am reminding you to keep your dignity, to wait for clear light before speaking, and to allow unhealthy doors to close without blaming yourself. When the urge to explain begins to fade, recognize that you are being led out of the old loop. You do not need to feed it with tears, with proving, or with returning to the place that drained you. Be at peace, because silence, led by love, is never empty. It is the place where you are protected, renewed, and prepared to step into a way of living that is gentler, wiser, and purer. The desire for that final conversation is fading within you, and that fading is not a loss, but a gentle sign of release. Beloved child, there were things that once pulled you back with only a message, a glance, a silence, or an unexplained sentence. You thought you needed a dialogue to be at peace, needed a clear ending in order to move on, needed the other person to acknowledge your pain before your heart could feel light. But I tell you, sometimes closure does not come from another person's mouth, but from the holy hand quietly loosening within you what once bound you to old cycles. When you no longer crave the reaction as before, do not rush to think you have become cold. It may be a sign that inside you are being healed from the need to prove, to explain, and to make others understand what they are not ready to receive. Some loops can only live when you keep giving them your attention, your tears, your justification, and your fear. Every time you answer in panic, it receives more breath. Every time you try to reopen the door just to find an answer, it gains more ground. But when you begin to stand still, when you stop feeding what has exhausted you, that loop begins to weaken. That is not emptiness, it is a change of season. So when fear pushes you to act immediately, while the voice of peace within reminds you to wait, listen deeply. Not every urgency comes from wisdom, and not every slowing down is a sign of defeat. Sometimes waiting makes you feel as though you are being rejected, especially when you are too tired to keep believing. Sometimes silence makes you feel as though you have been forgotten, especially when you need evidence to reassure yourself. But child, there are times when waiting is the protective garment placed over you, so you do not make a decision from a wound, and so you do not step back into the old place simply because your heart is trembling. I want you to remember that the Most High is not late simply because you are impatient, and He has not stopped acting simply because your eyes have not yet seen the result. A seed does not need to make noise while it is splitting open under the soil. It grows in silence, takes root in the darkness, and at the right season rises toward the light. In the same way, there are things within you being prepared in the hidden place. You only see a quiet hallway, but the room ahead is being arranged. You only hear silence, but heaven is still working with a gentle order. Do not call this quiet space absence. Call it preservation. Call it the hand holding you back from what is smaller than the peace you deserve to receive.